All right, looks like we're live. It's Friday, TGIF, July 31st. I'm just going to be taking a quick look at Pipedream. It's a service for, actually, rather than me saying it myself, we'll hop into the docs. An integration platform for developers to build and run workflows that integrate apps, data, and APIs. It looks a lot like Zapier if Zapier got connected with Lambda, because you can hook in, you can run some Node.js and kind of tie your functions and your data together. So I am 100% new to this service, haven't done anything with it at all before, um, anything at all with it previously. So I'll just be kind of running through the docs, seeing what there is to see, and hopefully learning something and getting comfortable with a new service. Literally, all I have is an account and I haven't done anything. Um, One of the coolest things is it's currently free, so that seems awesome. Your first workflow, I did see that there was a tutorial workflow, so I'm going to run through that first. Takes 3 minutes, and then my hope, honestly, is to hook this up to Jotform, maybe fill out a form, post some data in, and then, if I'm lucky, connect it to Google Sheets or something like that. So we're going to copy this example workflow. All right. Generating events to trigger workflow code. This workflow runs on Pipedream servers and is triggered by an HTTP webhook request. Okay, sure. Deploy. All right. Trigger this workflow on each request. Send a test event. All right. So here's the URL. What do we got here? I can't. So test. Oh, curl. Okay. All right. So this is the endpoint. This workflow is triggered with requests to that. Then there's a context. I'm not sure what that is. The triggering context. The event with its body data, which was posted to it. Helpful for debugging. The raw event. Probably more stuff you can parse there. And then I can hook that up to other stuff. Okay, sure. Interesting. What's this? Off, on. All right. I'm going to run to this stuff. So this is a workflow. All right, workflow. That's the one that we just made. Let's get rid of that. All right. Deactivate archive. Don't need that. Let's try making a new workflow here. All right. Well, I saw apps. Let's start with this. We don't need that. Apps, connect an app. Because like I was saying, I wanted to see if I could run Jotform data into here. Get your API key in your settings. All right. So let's. I'm just gonna pull this off the screen for a sec, so that I'm not sharing that API key. Although I guess I could always delete it if it came down to it. All right, here's my API key. Adding that in, nickname Jotform test. Save. Right. Made that. Let's pull this back over. Did that actually connect it? It did. Jotform test. Okay. So that's in here. That's connected. All right. Workflows. New workflow. Create an event source. Jotform. Select the source. So the only sources from JotForm are new submissions. So I did do this again. Choose a JotForm connection. Oh, so I could have multiple connections. We'll do that one. It's linked. Oh, so I have no JotForm forms in that account yet, so that's not going to work. Let's hop over to JotForm. We'll make a new form here from scratch. All right. Add a form element. Let's just say full name, and then we'll add email as number 2. And that's good enough for me. Publish. All right. Let's see if we can hop back to Pipedream form. Nice. Name, form, JotForm, form submission, create a source. Okay. So there wouldn't be any recent events here to trigger this. Enable the trigger step to run this workflow on new events. Let's try this. Let's just do it this way. Okay. Let's hop over, I guess. Let's hop over there and just put through a form here. Test. All right. Email. Classic email address. All right. Hop back over to Pipedream, and let's see if this picks up that submission. Not sure if it will. Enable the triggers. Oh, see. Might need to resubmit that because I didn't have that enabled. Let's hop back here. Let's copy. Test, next, test at test.com. I'll just say test2. All right, back to Pipedream. And in here, let's see if that picks up the event. I'm not sure how long that would take. Generate events to trigger workflow code. Let's refresh. We've got this configured, test. So we still have no recent events loading here. Settings. Forward this workflow's errors to your global workflow. Timeout 30 seconds. Collaborators none. All that's fine. For the workflow itself, active last updated 3 minutes ago, listening for new events, but it doesn't seem like it picked up either of those test form submissions. JotForm submission. Oh, this is interesting. Once linked to the generic form, which I believe is the form that we set up here, let's hop back to JotForm. Just make sure that this went through right. Form builder, manage my forms. 2 submissions. So those 2 went through here. I wonder, okay. Form, go back to it and try it again. Publish, copy link. We'll try this again for the 3rd time. Give it a real name. And a slightly closer to real email address. And let's just see here. Test. I'm gonna have to hop to the docs here. Heaven forbid, in a second, if this doesn't pick up that form submission. You know what? Let's open the docs. Let's dive in. Workflow. What are steps? Trigger. Every workflow begins with a single trigger step. Trigger steps initiate the execution of the workflow. Code and actions cannot precede steps. Steps have names. Passing data 2 steps. Step parameters are just functions. Okay. Triggers. Triggers from services, app-based triggers. You can trigger a workflow on events from apps using event sources. So this is still, I still have no test here. Well, let's see. I guess I can add the next step. Run Node.js code. Okay. Async. Oh, the classic. Don't know where this login information would go, but we'll log I received the form. Save, deploy. We still don't have anything triggered by that form. Maybe let's hop back into JotForm here. All right. Let's pull this off screen for a second. You know what I'm wondering? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm wondering, I think what happened was form is the generic name for the forms there, and I think I may have picked the wrong form. So we're gonna call this Pipedream testing form. That's saved. Let's close it here, close it here. We'll close the docs here. I'm just going to pull this off so that not all of my forms show, and I will adjust that trigger. Let's see. All right. Let's see if we can edit the form we're connected to here. Yes, Pipedream testing form, update props. Okay, so I've updated this to use the specific Pipedream testing form. I'm not sure if that is what the actual problem was, but we'll hop back here and we'll see if it picks anything up after I submit another form here, because it's really strange. Otherwise, I think I'll just have to abandon JotForm for the testing, because maybe something else has a more effective trigger. All right, so we're gonna say this is 3rd time is the charm at email.com. That could be someone's email address. All right. Let's load these recent events here. Anything. No luck. No luck with the... It's so strange. I mean, a little bit disappointing off the bat, but I'm not sure whose issue this actually is. Let me just give this a hard refresh. Is the JSON failing there? Why is nothing coming in? Time at 30 seconds, no collaborators. Well, that's a little bit of... Oh, last updated 3 minutes ago. Let's have it. We'll give it 2 more seconds here, and otherwise we'll need to try to hook this up to a different app for the testing, since that JotForm connection does not seem to be loading the test event to trigger the workflow. And it's kind of hard to test it if you can't trigger it. Workflows, active, actions, code steps that can be used in the workflow. Interesting. Why is nothing strange? Is it strange or is it just me? Is it strange that nothing is showing here? A little bit odd. All right, workflows. Hop back in here and see if that picked up the recent events. We got nothing. All right, so we'll try a different workflow. We'll make a new one. We'll see if we can do this with something else. Get a unique email address to trigger a workflow. We can do that. Yeah, let's do that off the bat. Okay, we got an email address here. We'll send our own test event rather than one through there. Let's go here. I'm just going to do a test email to that email address, subject line. We're streaming this. Body says, so I hope it works. Send. All right. Let's see if that. Last event, none. Huh. Maybe that JotForm connection needs some work. So here, test event. Is that their test event? I don't think that's my test event. Today. Oh, nice. Okay. So this here on the left is a log of the events that have happened. This is that test email event that I sent. So we got the from, the headers. We got the subject line here. We're streaming this and the text. So I hope it works. It did. Fantastic. So from here, we can connect this to different things. We could send another email. So Google Sheets is one of the things that I was very interested in connecting this with. So let's give that a shot. We'll connect to Google Sheets, which I have not done before. Can I do this right here? Or is that not? Pop-up window blocked. Okay, off the screen. Authorizing that. It can view my Google spreadsheets. Sure. I always get nervous with these OAuth permissions. see if this works. All right. In the Google OAuth folder, it says this window should close automatically, but it didn't. Let's save that, see if it recognizes that that's connected. Okay, cool. Row, array, structure. So this is interesting. Okay. An array of data representing the cells of a row. For example, 1, 2, 3. All right. Sure. Let's just go with the dummy data. Add a row to a sheet using the Append API. So this is from Google's developer docs. Row, spreadsheet ID. So I don't have any spreadsheets to connect this to. So I'm going to have to do that. Make one. I'll do that separately. Let's make a new sheet, blank. All right, the ID is spreadsheets /d/ID. So I'm copying that in. We got our new spreadsheet ID. Requires a sheet name. This is called test Pipedream. Got that too. All right, row. So can I, with this, like if this was Zapier, can I grab data from that email to add a row to sheets? Private. I know I can add multiple rows here. Well, I guess we'll connect it first. Oh, interesting. So let's just do this here. Let's add this in row. 1, 2, 3. So it looks here like they generate the code. It's the code that they're running for you. Oh, very cool. So they show you the code that they're running to connect to that. How can I extract data from? Okay, so let's hop to the docs here. Docs, steps, triggers, code, workflow state, events, inspect events, replay events, send test events, manage workflows, actions, use existing actions. You can reference the event steps and processing of variables and passing params to an action. So let's see if, is there something I do within this step to pass the params to the next step? That's the name. That's the data. Oh, is this? No, that's the to. That's who the email was sent to. How do I, what's this do? Make editor full screen. Start typing for an action, async params, 6 additional properties, 5 hidden, add an individual property add-on, send data to an HTTP destination. So, add a row, auth is done. These are the params that are being sent. So I feel like I should be able to do something to reference my previous steps. Add Node.js, Pipedream, Slack, Pipedream, search pull requests, apps, more. No, not those. Okay, so lots of stuff in the way here. How do I close that? Okay, let's just search for variables. Environment variables, creating, update environment, reference environment variables. All right, so let's go with params. The values of step params are private by default. Params. Passing data to steps. Steps are just functions. We'll review how to pass params to steps here. All right. Instead of hard coding values directly in the code, these can be parameterized and passed to the step as a variable. Parameters promote reusability. They make it easier for others to use the workflow since it's clear what values they need. The new Node.js code step, try adding that. Console log. When you reference a property of the params object in your code, Pipedream automatically creates an associated form field where you're asked to enter its value. You'll see this field appear no matter how the property is referenced in code. You can do structure property of params. Okay. Like with actions, you can reference properties in the event object, any data exported from steps. That's what I want to see. By default, variables declared are scoped for that step. To share data between steps, you can use step exports. Your trigger step automatically exports the event that triggered your workflow in the variable steps.trigger.event. Okay. When you export your own data from steps, you'll access it at the variable steps.stepname.exportName. Okay. Use named exports. The variable of this is referenced in the current step. This is JavaScript object immutable. Just show me how to do it. Okay. Oh, the return is actually. All right, so we got this up here. Let's edit it. Well, that's just what comes back from the email. Pretty print. No, don't need that. Steps. Yeah. Triggers. Like I would have thought that I could use that the variables from here would be exported. But it's weird. I'm not seeing that as the case. I have the code here. So this actually, I need to export something from the trigger or find how to reference data from the trigger. Email, limitations. When you select the email trigger, we create an email address specific to you. As soon as you send an email to the workflow, parses its body headers attachments into the JavaScript object it exposes in the steps.trigger.event variable that you can reference within your workflow. This transformation can take a few seconds to perform. Once done, Pipedream will immediately trigger your workflow with the transformed payload. Okay, cool. Okay, so steps.trigger. So then can I use test from message ID priority? Let's hop back to those docs one more time. We use Amazon SES to receive emails for the email trigger. You can find the shape of the event in the SES docs. All right. Question is receipt object, top level JSON object, mail, content. I'm trying to see if anything here matches that JSON object that they're showing me. Destination, that looks right. Destination, message ID, source, timestamp headers, message ID. Okay. So then can I do like, oh, there we go. Oh, nice. Okay, so I started typing event dot, um, oh, there we, okay. Took me a little while to figure this out, but typing within here, I wonder if, okay, let's just see if this works regardless. Oh, that does. So I don't know the exact syntax that I want here. I probably don't need those variables. I'm going to say event dot, can I do subject? Event dot subject. Perfect. This is going to be the first line, and then we'll do event dot body, right? Body, text, and do text. Text, event dot text. So event.subject and event.text will be added here to the spreadsheet. And let's just save that and deploy it. I don't know what the deploy time is here. And then we'll send a test event and see what happens. So it's executing now. Error failed with status code 400. All right, debugging, super important. Let's see if we can debug why this failed. I got an email from them with an error in the workflow as well. Just gonna hop over and take a look at that email to see if it's just telling me, it's just an alert that there was an error. Okay. There's the raw event code. Oh, here we go. Request failed with status code 400. That's not the most helpful. Debug bad request. Post. So I wonder. Okay, let's just see here if we need to reference these in a kind of variable like syntax. We'll save that and we'll deploy it and test it. All right. Requires property row. Oh, they lost what I had. Nice. All right, so we will say event dot, what did I say? Subject first, followed by, oops, not sure if this is right, and event dot text. Try that. That's there. I think everything is saved. Send it a test event. Another error. 400. All right. Config, values, post. So those were double. It looks like these were, data that. It looks like they turned into a double array here. That's kind of weird. Maybe I don't need, all right. Maybe that example here, 1, 2, 3, maybe the array is implied and I just need the values. Let's try that. So I saw someone reference Pipedream as no code or something along those lines, which I would say, given the degree to which you're working with code, would not be a great description. Maybe low code, but you certainly need some proficiency in code to get this working. So what I'm going to do here, since that failed again, and it doesn't, unable to parse range test Pipedream. Okay, invalid argument. Config. That was the name of the sheet. Interesting. Let's just check those. You know what we're gonna have to do here? Okay, so we've got our spreadsheet ID. Let's confirm that it's right. Looks right. Oops. And the sheet name, which is a string. Oh, you know what I did? I'm a big dummy. It's sheet 1. All right. Let's save that. I didn't do the name of the sheet. I did the name of the spreadsheet because I don't speak spreadsheet very well. So that deployed. The deploys are very quick here. Sending that event, fingers crossed. And it worked. Well, it sort of worked. Here, I'll show you what we did. We got our data stuck in a single cell here. So we will adjust the data that we're sending in, params. All right, so we had those. We certainly didn't want those. All right, so maybe we do want the array syntax here, as they show in the example. We'll save it. We don't want that, because it seems like that was not necessary. Those are done. We're in brackets. We're going to save it again. We'll deploy it. And we will send a test. And we certainly added data, but once again, we did not get the data in a separate column. It's just, as you can see here. Got it. I'm not trying to add, I was trying to zoom in. Thanks a lot, Sheets. So we're still in a single column. Let's work this out just a tiny bit more. Get this working. All right. The array of data representing the cells of the row. So let's try it without those final brackets. Well, you know what we'll do? Let's try, we know how to add our params. Let's just try to do this with their example to see if maybe we need the spaces. I'm not sure. Let's just see how 1, 2, 3 gets posted in. If those actually end up in separate cells or not. At least we're connected. No, okay, so not particularly helpful. They all ended up in the same cell. Interesting. An array of data represent. So I would have thought, one of the things I wanted to see here was it seemed like Pipedream, I wonder if these are on community, not helpful, explore. If anyone had a Sheets, and look, because people like these workflows are become available, and if anyone had one connected to Google Sheets that that I could take a look at, but okay, I have to tell them this. I mean, there's no search here, which is, you know, I'd like to be able to type in a word like Sheets and get anything that was connected to it. So I don't see any connected to Sheets. All right. So we can't copy anyone, which is, of course, the first thing that you always want to do. I mean, I can't imagine that it's a double wrapped array. We'll test this one. And I think what we're going to want to look at here is the code that they generate. Count data values row. Counts row equals params. Where is, so what they actually sent here Um, can I see? I think I should be able to see. Um, can I debug this event and see what was sent? That's the code. I don't want to rerun it. I want to see what was sent there. In the debugging, you were able to see what got sent through. Oh, Dylan, let me see what Dylan says. I believe the Google Sheets error indicates that you'll need to reference the name. Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Yep. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was me being a little dense there, not referencing the sheet. Uh, my my bad on that. Oh, okay. I'm a little slow here too. All the variables that are available, I can grab from this dropdown. Um, I assume that's giving me a separate row, not separate cells. So let's just say test for row 1, test for row 2. We'll save that just to see if we get multiple rows. Oh, you know, if these are multiple rows, I can try this a bunch of different ways here. I can put in 1, 2, 3, and then we could even, get really crazy here. I can't imagine that they're, maybe I need the data quoted. Let's try that. Let's do test and test. We'll see what happens with this fairly funky deployment. Executing, send. Oh, yay. Oh, all right. Well, it looks like the wording, at least this is probably on me again. Those got added, these got added as cells, which is just not how I read this. Each row here was added as a cell to the spreadsheet. So if I wanted this to do what I was initially doing in here, I would say, what was it? Event.subject. In here, I would say event.text. I don't need these. And I can save this and deploy it and send a test email to it. And sure enough, bring this over. If you can see here, the subject of the test email went in the first cell, and the body of the test email went in the second cell. So we got it working. Not without its rough edges, but super cool, super powerful. My biggest frustration here is just I don't know what the issue was with the with that JotForm integration and why it was not picking up on the events. But I'm assuming that's probably, maybe it could be something on JotForm's side. Also, JotForm has webhooks, so I might be able to set up a webhook that gets triggered, or a webhook that posts to Pipedream from their side to get that working, which I'll probably mess around with at a different time. But we were able to set up the custom email address. When it gets emailed to, it parses the body of that for you and then pushes that data into a Google Sheets spreadsheet. Which honestly, for 45 minutes starting from zero is a pretty awesome tool. I'd like to get that form piece set up as the initial trigger, but I'll definitely be exploring Pipedream a bit more to see how I can use it. My end goal being something along the lines of, being able to set up a form. There's services where you pay for forms, but, for a friend, for whatever, basic form, posts in the data, can trigger an email and stick it in a spreadsheet. I mean, all for free. That's a really awesome wiring service. So I explored Pipedream. Thanks for tagging along. I'll probably be back next week, maybe with Pipedream again, just looking into it a little bit further. Otherwise, happy Friday and have a good weekend.